Basketball makes me happy. Thank y'all for joining the Habitual Line Steppers podcast. I am Garrett Charles Langley Henson.
And I am Terry Ricardo DeShazo, the second. Let's get into it, man.
Yes, sir. Coming to y'all from July 1st. The second coming to you on the 1st. And it's also the first day of NBA free agency, Terry. We've already seen some trades popping off across the league, but trade requests have set the league ablaze. Terry, 50 years ago in the 1970s, white landlords in the Bronx burnt their apartments, hoping to collect insurance money and displace the black folks living in their buildings.
Yeah.
Get some new white tenants. 50 years later, it's Brooklyn that's burning, and this time it's the landlords that are sweating. Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant have demanded a trade from the Brooklyn Nets. What are your initial thoughts, bro? There are a billion different directions we could go to from this.
Yeah.
You know, we could talk about all the assets that the Nets gave up to get these two. You know, when you talked about me wasting picks to reunite Mace and Cameron and get two dumbasses together, I didn't sacrifice nearly what the Brooklyn Nets did. They fired Kenny Atkinson, who just won a championship with the Warriors.
Assistant coach.
Traded Jared Allen, who just became an all-star 23-year-old guy for the Cavaliers.
Should have been starting.
Signed DeAndre Jordan, another friend of theirs.
Idiots.
After that, they said the big three of DeAndre Jordan, Kyrie, and Kevin Durant somehow wasn't enough to get it done. So they mortgaged their future again, trading for James Harden, giving 5 years worth of first-round picks, going all the way through 2027. Now, James Harden is in Philadelphia. Ben Simmons is in Brooklyn. Who knows how he'll play? And Kyrie and KD are leaving town, leaving the Brooklyn Nets with nothing but an empty paper bag and Ben Simmons.
Oh, man. I mean, initial thoughts. This is fucking insane. This is absolutely insane, bro. Like, it's just so many things I was thinking about, like, rattling over, like, what my take on this is going to be. First off, I'd like to say, as a New York Knicks fan, I'm pissed because they chose the wrong fucking team. You don't choose the second banana, bro. There's no culture over there. They did the exact same thing they did when they got fucking KG and Paul Pierce. Gave away all these picks, and now look at them. Doing the same shit again. Gave away all their fucking picks again. Boston made the fucking finals before they did in the same period of time when they gave away all those picks. You hitched your wagon to Kyrie Irving. Before even the whole COVID thing, dude was flaking on games, getting hurt all the time. You know, that's KD's problem for hitching his wagon to that motherfucker. But at the end of the day, they made the choice. KD, you know, he hitched his wagon to this fucking Brooklyn team. You know, they wanted Steve Nash to be their coach, had no experience. They were like, oh, we don't need a coach. We don't need shit. This is what happens when you let fucking players run your organization. They're going to run that shit into the ground. You are a fucking GM, a president, and an owner. You guys watch more basketball than they do. I don't care what any fucking player says. I don't care. You don't know talent. You know LeBron is good. That's it. Everybody else, you don't know shit.
Right. Y'all thought Cam Reddish was better than Zion Williamson.
Yeah, bro. Like, come on, bro. Stop, bro. Y'all don't know anything. Stop fucking trying to be the GM. That shit only works for one dude, and we give him shit all the time about it. He got 4 chips in 4 different places. All right? Or 3 different places. I'm just saying. And we still give him shit for it. KD is the worst GM I've ever seen in my life. At this point, I think it's KD. It's all on KD. I don't give a fuck about Kyrie. We know who he is. He believes in the fucking flat earth. The guy's crazy. It's all on KD. KD's the worst leader that has ever played any sport in the history of sports. No.
We'll stop right there. I will not have you besmirch the word leader with Kevin Durant's name. I won't allow it. He is not a leader. Where has he led? Where has he led any team to? another team.
Winning.
That's all he does.
So not winning.
He leads himself to a better situation. Then he ruins it there. Then he goes to find a better situation.
No.
We've already seen now in the last 6 years, this will be the third team that Kevin Durant will play on. 6 years ago today, he was a member of the Oklahoma City Thunder. 2 of those seasons, he didn't even play basketball. So now you're essentially telling me that one of the greatest players of all time is going to be on his third team in 4 seasons because of his own choosing? No, Charles Barkley was right about the bus rider. I don't want to hear leader again.
Hey, man, you can say what you want, but the dude is a bona fide stud. Dude's top 5 talent of all time. There's no denying that shit.
There's no denying his talent, all right?
There's
Jordan
no denying.
Irving didn't get no rings either, all right? We're not talking about the Iceman.
No, that's true.
No.
All I'm saying is when you have that type of talent, you have to have the ability to lead because this type of shit is going to happen to you. He is single-handedly ruining the player empowerment shit. I know Ben Simmons fucked it all up last year too, and a couple other guys before them. But this is fucking ridiculous. You chose to leave one of the best teams in NBA history to go to a team that will never have enough fans, more than New York, similar to the fucking Clippers. You're never going to win that city over. That's never fucking happening. And Kyrie Irving, that's your partner? That's the boy you choose?
Beyond partner, Terry, this goes as deep as Bonnie and Clyde. Kyrie Irving refuses to play for the majority of the season, gets 100% of his money, does a disappearing act in the playoffs, and then Kevin Durant holds a gun to the Brooklyn Nets' head and says, hey, even though I just signed a new 4-year deal here, or 5-year deal, and I have 4 years left on my current deal, if you don't re-up Kyrie Irving to a max deal, I'm leaving.
That's crazy, bro. It makes no sense. I'm baffled at this guy's mind. I mean, first of all, I already knew he was delusional. When he said, you know, it wasn't like a horrible move to go to Golden State after they bopped his ass when he was up 3-1 on them. He was like, nah, I just wanted to go to a good team. Bro, if he didn't fucking say, like, the truth, just tell me the truth. Like, look, I couldn't beat him, so I joined him. He never said that one time. He never said that shit. He was like, nah, I just wanted to play basketball. Like, it's just a basketball decision for me, blah, blah, blah. I was like, bro, just admit you were a little bitch. It's okay. Everybody's got a little bitch in them. It's fine.
Can you ever remember a player whose legacy was this negatively impacted year after year, whose play sustained at an all-time great level? Like, he never got worse. He tore his ACL. He tore his Achilles. Yeah. He came back. He probably had the best season of his career playing for the Nets that first season. Like,
pretty well.
He's been exceptional. And yet my opinion of Kevin Durant has gone nothing but down since 6 years ago. I think of him as a lesser player, even though he's not performed any lesser on the court. It's been about the same story for him.
No, that's true. I mean, but it's because he's doing it on his own. He's making these moves to leave situations that were set up perfectly for him. Like, he set it up himself. He did it himself. He's like a top 2, top 3 player in the league. He's like, nah, I'm leaving Golden State. You know, I'm done with that. We could have won 8 championships in a row. You know what I'm saying? Nobody could compete with them. He's like, nah, I'm going to go to Brooklyn. I'm going to the Brooklyn Nets. Their structural organization is just so great that I'm going to the Brooklyn Nets.
Right. They have 36 head coaches. I'm sure they'll have the foundation in place.
Well, one, the first season he plays with Kyrie, he's by himself, basically. Actually, yeah, he's by himself. They go to the playoffs, if I'm not mistaken. And then they say,
that was the toe in the line against Giannis.
Yeah. And James Harden came in, was it?
No, it was that year. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
It was mid-season. And remember, Kyrie didn't play in the playoffs that year, but James Harden played on a half a hamstring. And Kevin Durant still almost got them, past the Bucks by himself.
So just riddle me this. Let's just go down a hypothetical, not a crazy one. If he would have done that with the Knicks, it's a different story, bro.
First of all, man, stop trying to make your organization relevant again. All right, we'll talk about you and Jalen Brunson for 90 seconds at the end of the.
I'm talking about him. I'm not talking about him. I'm just saying.
We're talking about the Knicks, and nobody gives a fuck. We're not talking about
a different story.
They're not relevant. Is
it not
crazy? This is how delusional Knicks fans are. That you guys are upset that Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving didn't come and destroy your franchise for 2 years and careers with no picks until 2027. You're upset that you have your picks.
Just listen to me. I'm not wilding out. I know I have no objectivity when it comes to this, but I'm saying if he's toe on the line by himself with the New York Knicks, besides an organization that has no history, it would have been a little bit different. Now, if he decided to leave, then we probably would have blamed the fucking Knicks. We wouldn't even blame fucking KD. We don't even care about the Brooklyn Nets organization being shit. We're just like, hey, they mishandled this. We never even said they mishandled it.
They're shit. They should have just stuck with Kenny Atkinson. You know what Kenny Atkinson would have done when Kyrie Irving was like, yeah, we're all coaches. He would have been like, no. You would have seen him jump right into the back of the joint, photobombing like Kent Bazemore. He would have grabbed a mic. He would have been like, listen, if you want your coaches all up in the videos. That's what is it? Done. Steve Nash was like, oh, yeah, you can come over to my house for dinner and look at Kobe's MVP rings.
Yeah, but all the narrative, and I'm not saying we shouldn't blame KD for this. I'm just saying, like, the whole narrative is just changed to blaming KD, but they definitely could have handled this situation a lot better than they fucking did, man. They let players walk away.
Are you taking care? Who do you think is more at fault right here? The Brooklyn Nets for allowing themselves to fall in love, or for Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving for twisting the knife in their back?
I'm blaming the Nets. They should have stabbed Kyrie Irving with a fucking COVID vaccine. Are you kidding me? You would have had your big three together. I would have been in the fucking Kyrie's front door. Be like, knock, knock, open up. You got COVID. Let's go, baby. You balling now. You got the vaccine. It's time to ball. I understand all this. I understand it's his choice to do what he did, but he ruined it. I already said this before. When James Harden decides that you don't like basketball, then there's a fucking problem. There is a fucking problem. I've said this before. It's a problem when James Harden is like, oh, he doesn't like basketball. It is like Kyrie's a problem. KD, of course, is not a leader. He's a follower now. We all know it. Wow. We all know it to be true.
So
it's bigger now.
If you were the Brooklyn Nets, you would have tried to Trojan horse a vaccine into Kyrie Irving's body, like Colin Kaepernick's contract with the NFL. You would have tried to sneak it in there.
Bro, I'm telling you. It had to be. He ruined the whole season. I'm like, bro, you're getting vaxxed, bro. I don't care what you're talking about. And what makes it even crazier, though, the KD situation, he's doing it again. He's choosing not only the number one seed in the Eastern Conference, but he's choosing the number one seed in the Western Conference. He just wants to go to two top seeds in the NBA. This is absolutely ridiculous.
This morning, Frank Capela from the New York Post or whatever publication he works for in New York, he tweeted out the player empowerment era, : and he was like, player decides they like the situation that you've built, all the assets and the culture. Player comes and has you trade away all your assets to acquire new players and superstar players. It fucks up the culture. A year later, star player decides to go to a different place that has assets and a better culture now that you just came there and depleted yours. Like, how many times are we going to remake this movie? Are we going to make Fast and the Furious 17? Is that what we're going to do with Kevin Durant?
Seems like it.
Before we get to the KD possible trades, and we're going to get there very soon, how does this impact his legacy? Do you feel any different about Kevin Durant this morning than you did yesterday when he was still under contract to play with? Would you feel different about Durant if he stuck it out with the Nets? I'm asking.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's without a question. Like, that's definite. Of course, we would have thought differently of him, but I mean, this is what he chose, man. I mean, when you're a great player, you just can't keep hopping from team to team. Like, of course, LeBron gives you the blueprint, right? I can't really think of anybody else that kind of did this. I mean, Moses Malone and Shaq are probably the only other ones I can think of that kind of hopped at the end of their career when they're done. This dude is still good.
Even LeBron, though, it's like he hopped to Miami because the shit around him in Cleveland was just horrible. Yeah, it was a moribund franchise. It was a joke what they were putting around him. Yeah, that's excusable, I feel like, in retrospect.
Definitely. That was horrible.
Durant left 2 MVPs. All right. Then he left another MVP and 2 other Hall of Famers to go meet up with another guy who had MVP votes and an All-NBA player in Kyrie Irving. Now he's leaving the situation he created on a team that still has 3 All-Stars, Terry, with Durant, Kyrie Irving, and Ben Simmons. And now he's saying that isn't good enough. I can't get it done with a big 3. Do you know how many teams in the NBA have 3 All-Stars in their roster, Terry?
How many? 0?
1. The Brooklyn Nets. Or, excuse me, 2. The Warriors had Wiggins this year, but everyone knows that he didn't count.
Yeah.
You were the betting favorites to win the NBA championship.
For 2 years straight.
Yeah, I don't want to hear that I'm in a bad situation. It's not the Nets' fault. It's yours, Kevin Durant. Now, the Nets looking to trade Kyrie and Kevin Durant kind of put in a bad position here by the moves that they did earlier. Like you said, Terry, the Nets fall in love too quick. They fell in love with Kyrie. They said, oh, hey, you like me? Where you go out to dinner with me in public? Here, have this nice car that I own. Go drive around. You're still going to be with me, right? Oh, Kevin Durant, you're posting pictures of me on IG. We're getting seen all the functions. You even let me cut once or twice. Why don't you go take this mink coat and take a loan under my name for your little business? All right, James Harden. Okay, why don't you go max out all my credit cards and leave me with nothing and buy yourself something nice? And all they got from all of it was a jilted, damaged Ben Simmons. And because of acquiring Ben Simmons for James Harden, Terry, there is a arcane and ornate law in the CBA that says you may not have 2 players on their extension max on the same team. So you cannot have 2 players on their rookie extension max on the same team.
Wow.
So this means because Ben Simmons has been traded to the Brooklyn Nets, the Nets cannot trade for Bam Adebayo, Booker, Luka, Embiid, Fox, SGA, Donovan Mitchell, Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr., Jason Tatum, Karl Anthony Towns, Andrew Wiggins, or Trae Young. Even when Ben Simmons is not on the court, Terry, he's still finding a way to play defense.
This is wild. Hold on. Give me one
question, bro. So after all that, I say that to say that Kyrie and KD are hoping to stick together in free agency and work their way to a team together.
It's not happening. It's impossible. That's not possible for both of them to be traded. It's like, what, $72 million in combined money? Nobody's got that type of cash. Nobody's got those type of players.
We'll talk about one team that could do it. But if you're the Nets and you just got hurt like this, I just got burnt from Harden. I'm about to get burnt again. Will you trade Kevin Durant and Kyrie together?
It's got to be the right move. But honestly, bro, I don't – we always say, the team, has no leverage in this situation. At this point, I'd be like, you know what? If you guys don't want to play, fuck it. I'm just rock with Ben Simmons and some role players. We're not going to be good anyways if we trade you guys. So it's you just don't play for years. Kevin Durant has a 4-year contract.
Yeah.
Kyrie's going after 1, but KD's got 4 years on his contract. I'm like, KD, you want to sit out for 4 years? Fine with me.
Well, Terry, I agree with you 100%. I had 5 different Kevin Durant scenarios that could possibly happen. That was my 5th, and that's probably the one that I would do, is say, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, but it's not going to
happen. I got you under contract for 4 years. If you want to be like Ben Simmons and sit out and damage your Hall of Fame resume and have everyone be talking about your legacy for the rest of your career, how you're the softest superstar in NBA history, then you know what? You go ahead and do it and ruin your legacy. But we're not getting any picks back. We don't have our own picks. There's no path to a rebuild. The only way we can go from here is to get another superstar, and we're not going to get another superstar as good as Kevin Durant. So you know what? We'll trade Kyrie, but you're going to figure it out.
Yeah, he's got no leverage, bro. Because also, when you look at these trades for the teams he wants to go to, all these other teams want to keep their superstars. And you're like, it's not, bro. It's not fair. Like, no scenario should there be a trade where KD doesn't get traded. Well, you can't do the Devin Booker. But, like, it shouldn't even be a possibility where he gets traded to Phoenix and Devin Booker's not in it. There shouldn't be a possibility where he gets traded to Miami and fucking Jimmy Butler or Bam Adebayo's not in the shit. There should not be a scenario where Kevin Durant, one of the top 15 players of all time, gets traded for fucking DeAndre Ayton and Mikal Bridges and fucking, like, come on, bro.
This is what they're at, though. They knew this when they made the Ben Simmons deal, because now any superstar that you get, they're going to have to be older, because they're going to have to be on their second extension, or they're going to have to be like a super young guy on their rookie contract, like LaMelo Ball or Evan Mobley or Zion Williamson, who until an hour ago was on a rookie contract.
Yeah.
It's going to have to be someone like that.
Bro, we need another rule.
Who I'm calling for, I'm calling up Detroit for Cade Cunningham. I'm calling up Minnesota for Anthony Edwards. I'm calling up New Orleans for Brandon Ingram. I'm calling up Toronto for Scottie Barnes. And I'm calling up Cleveland for Evan Mobley and Darius Garland.
I like all of those except for the Cleveland one. I'm not giving those two guys up.
If you're Cleveland.
Yeah. KD, you can eat it. I'm out of here. Like, those two guys are young as hell. I got to see what they're going to be. Like, I'm not doing that one. But
no, are you telling me that you don't want to reunite Kevin Durant and Jared Allen? You think there might be some sore feelings there?
No. I'm not going to say that. I'm just saying, I don't know, bro. NBA needs to make another rule.
One player in the league back for Kevin Durant as the cornerstone from which to build a trade around. Who would it be? That's realistic.
If I get one?
Yeah, that's realistic.
One for KD? Oh, man. For Brooklyn, I think I would want to get probably Anthony Edwards. I probably want to get him of all the guys, I would say. That's realistic. I don't know, man. I mean,
I agree.
There's got to be another rule in the NBA that's called star for star. You can't get traded for a box of cereal. That should be illegal. It should be illegal to get traded for like 3 role players and 6 picks.
Listen,
like, come
man,
on, bro.
If that was the case, the Hawks wouldn't have Dejounte Murray. But we'll get to that later.
I mean, but the league stopped the fucking Chris Paul to the Lakers trade. You remember that?
Oh, I remember it.
We can just let these other ones go, huh?
Yeah, that was only because the league owned the Pelicans at that time, which was absolute horseshit.
Yeah.
But anyways, so let's get to some of these possible trades, man. All right?
Go for it.
Let's start with one that a guy that I already mentioned, Scottie Barnes. All right? A possible trade could be Durant for Scottie Barnes, OG Anunoby, and Gary Trent Jr., plus multiple first-round picks and multiple swaps.
Does Durant have a no-trade clause?
No.
Are you shitting me?
No.
Oh, this kid's crazy. He does all this shit.
I mean, he demanded a trade. I don't know what you're going to say. What do you need to do? You don't need a no-trade clause when you demand a trade every other season, Terry.
Wait a minute.
Wait a minute. If anything, the Brooklyn Nets needed a no-trade clause. That's the next wave. Teams putting in no-trade clauses on their side.
Hold on. Give me 1 second. I need to process this. He requested a trade, and then he gave destinations, but he doesn't have a no-trade clause?
Yeah.
Oh, buddy, you're going to Orlando. Are you shitting me? Get out of here. Go to Disney World. China.
Here's the thing. The Nets don't have any picks until 2027, so it doesn't behoove them to be bad. And all these, like, bad teams, you know, are you really think OKC is going to suck dick in 2027? Like,
they won't.
Think all these bad teams, the Rockets are going to be that bad in 20? It's going to be the Nets who are the worst team in the league in 2027.
If honestly, bro, like, I think the Nets have all the power. I don't care what anybody says. And I might be crazy about saying this. One, if you give away Kyrie and KD, not give away, you're still going to get like players that actually play basketball. But if you trade them and get role players back, you still got Ben Simmons. You don't really know what he is, but he's still he's a decent player. You're going to be bad regardless. So at this point, trade them and say fuck it. I think you still kind of got some leverage with Ben Simmons. If you
what do you think about that Raptors deal?
He's not going to Toronto.
Bodyguard, Anunoby, Gary Trent Jr., multiple picks.
Nah, don't like that one.
Who says no? The Raptors or the Nets?
The Raptors. They're giving away too much. Yeah.
Okay.
These teams are giving away too much, man.
Just checking. All right. I got another one for you. Kevin Durant to the Phoenix Suns for Deandre Ayton, Mikal Bridges, 3 first-round picks, and 2 first-round pick swaps. So 5 picks total, Deandre Ayton and Mikal Bridges.
That's a realistic one. I've heard that one a lot. That one probably makes the most sense, honestly. If I'm Phoenix, I'd probably say, yeah, you are giving up some depth, but what else is out there? You get KD. I'll take it. I think that's probably the best trade that's out there.
Phoenix will do that shit in a heartbeat. Are you kidding me? Phoenix already submitted that request before Kevin Durant put in his trade.
Here's the thing. I feel like these motherfuckers be forgetting about this shit. What's the main reason why they lost the finals versus the Bucks?
Nobody could guard Giannis.
They had no depth in those positions. Once Ayton fouled out, they were done. That's why they signed JaVale McGee. And now look at them. They're going to trade for KD and have no depth again? All right, go for it. You're not going to win a championship. Big threes don't work. It only worked in Miami because LeBron was a fucking man amongst boys. Big threes don't work, bro. And the only reason Golden State got their shit is because fucking Steph Curry injured his ankles for the first 6 years of his goddamn career, and he didn't get paid the max, and they were able to sign KD. At this point,
finagle it. We've seen a lot of big threes that do work throughout NBA history. I'm not going to go through all the list.
No, I'm talking these modern day big threes that kill your depth of your team. There's a lot of depth in these championship teams these days now.
Yeah, you got to nail your moves on the margins, man. You got to nail the buyout guys. You got to nail the veteran minimum deals. You got to nail your draft picks. You got to nail the second round guys that can come in and contribute.
Shit, Brooklyn tried that. Shit didn't work.
All right. Well, they could have nailed it if they had kept on to Jared Allen instead of flipped him for DeAndre Jordan, held on to some of these picks. Who knows what this team would look like? Maybe Kevin Durant wouldn't be demanding a trade.
They sold their soul to the Grim Reaper, man. Or the Slim Reaper. Yeah,
all right.
Come on, man.
Well, if you like that one, then this one is really selling your soul, Terry. Doing a deal with the team that knocked them out in the first round, the Boston Celtics.
Oh, God.
KD for Jalen Brown, Derek White, and 2 picks.
If I'm the Celtics, I say yeah. But if I'm the Nets, I don't think I'm not going for that one. If you just saw Jalen Brown not be able to dribble, I'm good on that. I'm out.
Hey, even despite his inability to dribble, he still didn't turn the ball over 100 times. And I think he looked better than Tatum did in the finals, man.
Now, he did in the finals. But...
he looked like the best player on the Celtics on that finals team. That's nothing to sneeze at.
No, he did. But
if they have a real number one, then Jalen Brown is a great number 2. The problem is you can't have 2 1Bs. You need a 1.
Oh, God, a real number 1. Damn, you just hit Tatum in the heart like that? That's tough.
Your boy did to himself with a Will Chamberlain photo.
Hey, shit, man.
So what you think about that, man? Celtics say yes, Nets say no?
I think both teams realistically probably say no. But if I'm the Nets, I'd definitely say no. Jalen Brown can't dribble for shit. I'm done with that.
It's
done.
He can't dribble, bro.
Bro, he can't dribble.
Not the right fit. He's overtaxed. He's not the best player in a championship team. But
all right, go for it.
You know what I mean? I still think he's a better asset than a lot of these other guys. I'd rather have Jalen Brown than DeAndre Ayton and Mikal Bridges.
Well, who says yes, who says no in your eyes?
I think it's tough. I think they both at the end of the day would probably say yes. If they're really honest with themselves, the Celtics know they could win the chip next year with Durant. And the Nets know that they could move Derek White for another first-round pick, get 3 picks back. You know, Jalen Brown is a legit all-star. They can move him down the line if they want to get another horde of picks. I just see him being a more valuable asset than a guy like paying a center like Ayton $35 million.
I think Brooklyn's got to just tank it out, bro.
They got to trade. They got no picks. They can't.
This is what you do. You trade KD to the Sixers. You get their picks. You give them star players. You let them get washed in 3 years. Then once you got their picks in like 2026, 2027, when the Sixers are going to be trash, we're good to go.
Now that's an interesting idea, Terry.
I don't know which contract line up.
So you say don't rebuild now, rebuild later on the Sixers' dime.
Yeah.
Well, in that case, you might as well stay competitive since you're getting the Sixers picks anyway. All right. And Terry, let me talk about 2 more trades. One more going all in. The Atlanta Hawks, Terry, just traded 4 first-round picks to get Dejounte Murray.
Talking about relevancy.
And yet, I don't look at this roster and see championships next season. If they're going to go in, there's a chance they go in with 2 feet. And that means putting their hat in the Kevin Durant sweepstakes. What do you think about this trade? Kevin Durant and Joe Harris for John Collins, Clint Capela, Bogdan Bogdanovic, 2023 and 2029 first-round picks, and multiple swaps.
That's not a bad trade. But
then we'd have Trae, we'd have Murray, we'd have DeAndre Hunter, Kevin Durant, and Onyeka Okongwu.
Oh, no Clint Capela? You said Clint Capela in that?
Yeah, he's in the deal.
Oh, okay. That might work.
That's a championship team.
But I don't even think Atlanta's thinking about it.
Oh, they are. We pushed off doing the Dejounte Murray trade because we thought Kevin Durant was going to be available. Then when Kyrie Irving opted in, we were like, all right, we'll go ahead and do it. They're going to stay in Brooklyn. You know, that's what the Nets thought too. They traded a first-round pick to get that dude from Minnesota.
True. That is true. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, what do you do if you're the Nets? Do you just bottom out, or do you
if you're trying to bottom out, I mean, getting all of the Hawks picks for 2026 until 2030 would be a pretty good – I mean, you're betting right now, if the Hawks do that, they go 2 feet in. I wouldn't do this, by the way. But if they did do this, the Hawks would be giving up all of their first-round picks from 2023 until 2029.
That's a lot of picks, but also, if you want to bottom out, I mean, I'm sure once you get those players from Atlanta, you can still kind of do other deals. Yeah. I think you're not a lottery team if you have Collins, Simmons, Bogdanovic, Bruce Brown. Like, those are decent players. Like, I think they're like a play-in team. You know what I'm saying? If you go bottom out. Get some picks and bottom out.
They don't have their own picks, so it doesn't behoove them to bottom out, Terry.
Well, that's what I was saying. Go for
be someone else's bottom out. They might as well be good while someone else bottoms out on their dime.
They got to go back in.
Let's get to the blockbuster, Terry. Oh, actually, before I get to the blockbuster, I'll say this about the Hawks trade. If you give up picks until 2029 and you end up with Trae Young, Dejounte Murray, and Kevin Durant on your roster, I'm going to pull Les Snead. You say fuck them picks. Because that team is winning a championship.
It's a possibility. I like the possibility. But if I'm the Nets, I don't know, man. Is Trae Young leaving?
Nah.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think you ever get a good pick, even if they give up all of their picks. I don't think you ever get a good pick out of that situation until 2029. Like, Trae Young is a great player, dude.
Yeah.
You know, people want to fake on him because of his size. But if he's there until 2029, and how old is Dejounte Murray? Like 26?
I think he's younger now. I think he's 24.
Yeah, I mean,
he was a 1 year. He was a one and done.
I know the future, that far into the future, is very hard to predict, but those are 2 really young dudes, and I don't see them falling off, bro. That's a tough one for me. If I'm
all the people that are concerned is like, oh, you can't have any picks in the next 7 years. No, you can trade other assets for picks. You can like take on bad contracts to get picks. There are tons of shit that you could do to get picks if you really want to get picks.
Yeah. Well,
But let's talk about a team that has none of them. The Los Angeles Lakers. Kevin Durant. Here's the final trade, Terry. The final proposal. Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving to Los Angeles for Russ, Anthony Davis, and their final last 2 picks that they are allowed to trade.
All right, so this one is the most unrealistic one, but if it happens, it will absolutely break every social media for the NBA.
And for what it's worth, Brian Windhorst reported today that Kyrie Irving is focused on forcing his way to the Lakers.
Yep, I heard that.
Even though it's improbable, it's not impossible, Terry.
Man, I mean, even if he's probably not going to end up on the Lakers this year. It's so hard to predict these motherfuckers because I couldn't see James Harden playing for the Nets last year or the year before, but, he still got his way on there. I don't know, man. If you play this whole year out and then Kyrie goes to the Lakers after that, LeBron's, 38 at that point? I don't know if that works, man. Bron that old, Kyrie, 30? AD still fragile, 29.
Wait a minute. Are you saying the Lakers wouldn't do the deal? Is that what you're saying?
No. I'm just saying the realistic nature of the trade. Like if Kyrie, I don't think Kyrie's going to get onto this team. Like that trade's not going to happen. Of course the Lakers want to do that trade. Russell Westbrook is fucking up the whole team.
Well, why don't you think the trade would happen on the Nets side?
Yeah, why would I want Russell Westbrook? For what? For the contract?
So the contract expires, you get $45 million in cap space, and you can try to bring the Barnum and Bailey circus back next summer and attract another max free agent.
Bruh, after they mishandled this, you think another big star is going to go to Brooklyn? No. That's not happening, bro. That's not happening ever again. That's done, bro. They fucked it all up. The whole history of Brooklyn is done, dude. They might as well move to Seattle. It's over. Move the fucking franchise. Keep the stadium. You can keep it. Do some circus shit. Have events. You're good. But this team, if I'm any big free agent, why would I go to Brooklyn? Are you kidding me? You just saw what they did to Kyrie and KD.
Hey, man. Like I said at the top, Brooklyn is burning.
Yeah, it's done, bro.
All right.
If that trade happens, that's going to blow up everything. I want that to happen. Please. Oh, my God. Please do it. Please. Please.
Terry, something I've wanted to happen for a long time is for us to finally get checks from YouTube. And last week, we crossed our 50% barrier, the halfway line. We decided to do a giveaway for our great fans who have supported us thus far, listening to the pod. And we gave very simple instructions, Terry. All you had to do was drop a comment on one of the videos.
Yeah.
3,000 views and 4 comments later, here we are. So I'm very excited to announce that all of you who commented have at least a 25% chance of winning this shirt. Terry, I ran the random number, the number randomizer before this podcast.
Yeah.
And it selected a winner for us. Right now, I am very pleased to present, wrapped up in plastic. That's because it's loud as fuck. Your very own habitual line steppers t-shirt to Michael Toller.
Mike. Big Mike.
Thank you for being a supporter since the beginning. Thank you for listening every week.
Hell yeah.
I didn't pick you. The random number generator did, but I couldn't think of anybody who deserves it more, my guy.
Yeah, man.
Thanks for your support. And I know you're going to blow our podcast up, walk around the city with my face on your titties.
Hell yeah, man. Congratulations, Mike. You the man. Hey, he can say it. When we make it big, he's gonna be like, I was with him when they had 10 subscribers.
I thought you were talking about the N-word. That's debatable. I'm not sure if he really can.
Nah. I'm not saying that.
Well, Terry, let's transition to a free agent deal that's sure to have other fans cursing. Jalen Brunson signed a $104 million contract with the New York Knicks. Now, if you listened to the Habitual Line Steppers podcast last week, this would be broken news for you. as we outlined, this is what they're going to do on draft day. Making the move to try to get Ivy, not making the move to get Fox, attaching picks to get off the salaries of Noel and Burks, and reportedly Cam Reddish. And now they have the space to sign a borderline top 50 player to a $100 million deal. Congratulations, Terry.
Thank you. I'd like to thank New York for finally getting their heads out their asses. Look, man, I know that the numbers seem crazy to us, but the salary cap and the money for the NBA continues to go up year after year. So a measly $25 million for Jalen Brunson is actually not as bad as people think, because max contracts are now $50 million. So man, he is now.
It's almost like exactly what you said to me about Julius Randle. Kemba Walker and Evan Fournier and Alex Burks and Nerlens Noel.
No. Don't you start putting names in my mouth like that. That's a goddamn lie. You know I didn't say that about Kemba Walker. Never said that about Kemba. I knew Kemba's knees were shot as soon as we signed him. Man can't play defense when his knees were good, so I don't want to hear that shit.
I'm talking about all this. These contracts are not going to look that bad because the salary cap's going up, and everybody's spending money now. Everybody's got bad contracts on their books.
The Kemba contract is going to end up getting us some space so we can get somebody next year, or even possibly this year. Depends on what we do with that motherfucker. But we're good. He's still on the team, right?
Who?
Kemba Walker, or did they waive it?
They traded him to the Pistons on draft day, and he got bought out.
That's right. Yeah. That's what I thought.
You had to attach Cam Reddish or a pick to get rid of him. But Terry, $27 million a year for Jalen Brunson.
Easy money.
After making this huge acquisition, the Knicks are the blank seed in the East next year.
9th seed.
We did it! We did it! We got Jalen Brunson!
Yeah. We're probably the Knicks are probably 6 through 10. I'm not like super excited about it. I am though excited to actually have like a point guard that's not horrible. Someone that actually can make some point guard decisions out there. He can actually get some buckets. He can actually play decent defense as well. And he's smart. Overall, his basketball IQ is great, man. Dude's a baller.
He was.
I'm actually excited.
Off 2 years ago, they couldn't even play him at all. They kept him on the bench. This year, he comes in and plays 2 good games against the Utah Jazz and suddenly deserves $104 million. He looked like shit against the Warriors the entire series. He's 6'1".
Why are you hating?
He can't dunk. I just can't believe it. I just can't believe it. And
why are you hating?
To give out this amount of money and to think that this is going to take you on a path to anywhere, it's just beyond comical. It's hilarious. Terry, congratulations on spending $100 million so you guys could not make the play-in tournament.
You're wild.
You did it. Oh, you think you're making the playoffs after this move?
I'm not worried about it. You're saying this dude's a bad player? He got 17-5 last year.
A bad player. I said you're paying $105 million to him. That's what I said. He's not a top 50 guy in the NBA.
$20 million? 27? That's nothing.
You could have had De'Aaron Fox for the same price.
What's the difference between him and Fox?
One of them could be an all-star.
We don't know that.
The delusion has already set in. I can see the delusion has already set in. You got any more thoughts on Brunson, Terry?
At the end of the day, it's not about this year. It's about when Randall can get the fuck out of here. And then we can actually become a team that does some stuff, because he's a cancer. But overall, I would say I do not think that Randall is going to play as bad as he did last year. Like, I don't see him playing that bad. Of course, like 2 years ago, it was really hard to gauge because so many people missed games and there was a lot of replacement players. There was a lot of replacement players last year too, but that was just a different COVID year. That was very strange. A lot of condensed games. It was a different season. That being said, if I can get something in between what he was 2 years ago and what he was last year, I'm fine with it.
Terry, that was really cute. Let me ask you, who says no in a trade between Julius Randle and Ben Simmons?
Jesus Christ. Stop disrespecting Julius Randle like that.
Oh, my God. So the Knicks say no? Seriously?
Nah. We probably say yeah in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. Knicks say yes.
That lets you know.
Yes.
I picked Julius Randle All NBA over LeBron 2 seasons ago, and now we wouldn't.
He deserved it.
And now we won't trade it for Ben Simmons, who can't play basketball.
Wait. Hold on. You picked him over LeBron for All NBA 2 years ago?
Yeah, I did.
I don't want to digress. That's crazy. I don't want to digress.
I did it on the podcast with you. You gave me a standing ovation and a blowjob.
Hey, look, I'll ask you a question, though, honestly. Think of New York point guards.
Mm-hmm. Rafer Alston.
No.
Oh.
New York Knicks point guards. Already, without playing a single game, top 5. Top 5.
Man, oh my God. That's a
Think
rough
about it. You got Jeremy Lin for 2 months. You got Chris Childs, who two-pieced Kobe in the face. R.I.P. Kobe.
Wait a minute.
Take that. Charlie Ward.
No, I'm not going to let you disrespect Pablo Prigioni like this.
Oh, golly, you're funny. We had the remains of Jason Kidd.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness.
And probably Mark Jackson and Rod Strickland. I mean, I feel like we gave up on both of them a little early. We got Stephon Marbury, the remains of him, in a trade. Brunson, without playing a single game, was already up there. Top 5.
Jesus Christ, that's depressing. Well, Terry, let's transition from the New York Knicks, who have never had a good point guard, to the Atlanta Hawks, who now have 2 of them after they traded for Dejounte Murray from the San Antonio Spurs.
Great trade.
The Hawks sent out Danilo Gallinari, 2 of their own first-round picks, a first-round pick that they acquired from Charlotte in the Cam Reddish deal, and a pick swap in 2026. Dejounte Murray and Trae Young, along with James Harden, were 2 of the only 3 players to average 9 or more assists in the NBA last season. And now the Atlanta Hawks have 2 of the very best passers on their same team. Dejounte Murray led the NBA in steals and deflections last season, but somehow did not make All-NBA. Terry, let me ask you, after this trade, the Hawks are the blank seed in the East.
You are in between 5 and 7, I would say. You're in between 5 and 7. And the only reason I say this, it's still on the defensive end, bro. I got to see what you're going to do with Trae Young in forms of hiding this man on the right players, because he's going to get hunted. It is what it is. Like, that's what they do. I got to see what you're going to do with this Clint Capela situation. He looked really good 2 years ago, but last year I didn't like what he was doing. I don't know if he's falling off or not. Something was a little off on that. Don't you still have Bogdanovic? And you still got DeAndre Hunter, who somehow just can't seem to play more than 50 or 60 games. I don't know what's going on with this kid.
We'd throw a fucking parade if he played 60 games. Are you kidding me? Can he play more than 23?
No, facts. It's just so many questions that need to be answered. Like the trade on getting DeJounte Murray is a fantastic trade for Atlanta. Like, this is a cornerstone to have these 2 guys in your backcourt. But it's just a lot of questions still to be answered on the defensive end, bro. It really is. It
is. One player is going to fix the whole scheme. A lot of people asked, why would the Spurs even do this deal? You have a 24-year-old all-star who averaged 9 assists a game, one of the best defenders in the entire NBA. He improved on his three-point shooting dramatically last year.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like a cornerstone player, like you said. Why would this guy be available? Well, he's a clutch client. Him and Trae Young share the same agent, Terry. And we know what those clutch guys, San Antonio saw the writing on the wall. And they said in 2 years, when he's up from his deal, this guy is not staying on the fucking boardwalk at San Antonio. All right? And so they said, let's trade him when his value is highest. We originally put John Collins in the deal. They said, we don't want him. Danilo Gallinari, he needs to send a thank you card to his European compatriot. We talked about him a little last week. The generational prospect, Victor Wembanyama.
Yeah.
The Spurs decide that they want to tank to try to get the next generational superstar, their next Tim Duncan, the next big guy who's actually going to change the face of the league. And they're throwing all their chips in to be able to do it.
Taking at the right time.
Victor Wembanyama, Danilo Gallinari, instead of John Collins, get put in the deal. Because Danilo Gallinari has an expiring contract, he can be cut, and only 5 goes against the cap. But, Terry, that date was yesterday that he had to be cut by. So just by virtue of Victor Wembanyama being alive, the Atlanta Hawks and the San Antonio Spurs agreed to push their guarantee up to $11 million instead of 5 for Danilo Gallinari, who literally made $6 million overnight just by being friends with a Frenchman.
Keep getting them checks, man. That's all I got to say. Also,
them Europeans got to stick together, Terry.
That's true, man. And if you are an avid listener to this podcast, we predicted this last week, actually weeks ago. Your boy Garrett is always on top of the Atlanta Hawks news. You know, he knew Cam Reddish was gone when you drafted him. You know, that's how ahead of the game he is. But this is also another one of those trades for me. Just doesn't sit right with me, man. It just doesn't. I don't like how the money just lines up where you can trade a fucking vending machine for DeJounte Murray. It just doesn't make any sense. The NBA is killing me with this shit. Like, I can't do this shit in 2K. How can they do it in real life?
Well, Deontay Murray, Terry, you have to remember, is on one of those early Steph Curry deals when his ankles were shook. Deontay Murray is only making $12 million a season as an all-star player, which is well below his value. I mean, you guys are paying how much are you paying to Jalen Brunson? $27 million a year? Might be an all-star, and we're paying 12 to an all-star. So that's how you get traded for a refrigerator in Danilo Gallinari, is that you barely make any money. But for the Hawks, I still feel like there's one move that's left to be done here. And with John Collins, it's being reported by Chris Kirshner and others at The Athletic that he is, quote, done with the Hawks. He's sick of being jerked around the last 2 seasons and treated like a make-weight and all these hypothetical trades.
That's true.
That he's been thrown under the bus by the front office, Trae Young, and the coaching staff, who literally Nate McMillan said in a press conference, we don't run any plays for John Collins. He just gets his in the flow of the game.
Yeah.
He's sick of this shit, and he wants out. And I think the Hawks, to your point, are looking to upgrade their perimeter defense. A deal that I could see that would make my dick inflate a little bit with blood, Terry. I'd love to see John Collins and Kevin Huerter go to the Toronto Raptors for Pascal Siakam.
Ooh, that's a good one. If y'all putting that out there, I kind of like it. But who is John Collins? What is he now?
John Collins, I think, is a great third banana. He's a disgruntled I think he can be like Chris Bosh. Like, on a great team, I really believe he can be the third best player. He's a military kid. Accountability is, like, in his genes. He's not afraid of confrontation. He was the actual leader on this team since Vince Carter retired. He's gotten better every year that he's been in the NBA. He came in as a guy who could literally only catch lobs, and now he's a 3-level scorer, shoots 40% from 3, one of the best pick-and-roll men in the league, an 80% free throw shooter, and a guy who went from being one of the worst defensive players in the league to making key stop after key stop in the playoffs against Joel Embiid, Julius Randle, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and more. So I think John Collins is a winning player.
Let me ask you a question.
On my team.
Let me ask you a question, though. If you're the Toronto Raptors, will you give up? Possibly, you probably could have made the second round last year. You're one Scottie Barnes sprained ankle away from making the second round, I would say, I think, in my mind. You're going to give up your possible 1A, 1B second banana for a third banana championship guy and a possible playoff rotation person in Kevin Huerter?
Yes, and I'll tell you why. Because I'll tell you why. Because Pascal Siakam is a third banana. When they won a championship, he was the third best player behind Kyle Lowry and behind Kawhi Leonard. That's what he is.
That's a close call.
A third banana championship team. Now, OG Anunoby has been disgruntled this entire season and is like put in trade pushes to the Toronto Raptors, saying he wants a bigger role in the offense. He's not getting enough touches. He feels like he could be a superstar player who could do more, and he's not happy with his role. Moving Siakam would allow OG Anunoby to assume more of that role. Possibly he could be the second or third guy that Siakam wasn't, and you get Collins back in the deal along with the shooter and Kevin Huerter. So,
do you think OG Anunoby is as good as Siakam? Just a question.
I think he could be. I think he's a better defender than Siakam. I think he's a better three-point shooter. And I think he's a guy that we've seen kind of like not be able to expand his game. Now, is he going to turn out to be Jeremy Grant on the Pistons, a guy who like is in a championship situation with the Nuggets and is contributing and is like, no, I'm going to go be the guy on a bad team and show you what I got? Yeah. Possibly. But I like him. I think he's good.
Potential. You die on this potential seed. I'm one of those guys that's, you are who you are. You show me who you are in your first 2 seasons, and I know who you are. I don't think OG's that guy. He is a great defender, but I don't think he's that guy. I wouldn't be afraid to just let him walk, to be honest with you. If I'm in Toronto, I'm not giving away Siakam.
I'm going to die on this hill, dog. The last 2 years when we picked our breakout players, MIP candidates, I picked OG Anunoby 2 years in a row. All right? So I'm dying on this hill that he's going to improve and that he's going to turn into a good player. If you remember, I agonized over the Hawks not drafting him, and I compared him to Kawhi Leonard when he was in college. So I've always had a hard-on for OG.
Well, the Hawks should have had Luka Doncic, so that's another story for another day.
Well, Terry, they didn't get Luka Doncic, but I'm seeing on my Twitter feed they did just get Aaron Holiday, the final Infinity Stone in their gauntlet. Go ahead and book it. Championship's coming to ATL. Holiday.
And next topic. All right.
So the Warriors already saw their first Infinity Stone from their championship gauntlet be removed. Gary Payton II signed for $28 million, 3 years with the Blazers. Terry, how do you like his fit in Portland next to Dame and Josh Hart and Jeremy Grant and a bunch of suddenly defensive-minded guys?
It's a great deal. That's exactly what they need. Now, I don't think Dame – this might sound crazy. I don't know if Dame is Iverson, but they're sort of in the same vein. I don't know if he can lead them by himself to a championship with great defenders around him. I think he needs one more piece, but I think picking up Payton is an excellent fit for Portland. And I think this will definitely work for them. So I'm glad they got him. And I'm glad for Payton. Get that money, man.
Yeah.
He deserves it.
I'm excited to see the Portland Trailblazers become competitive again after being one of the most unwatchable teams in the NBA last season.
Yeah, man.
I'm excited for Gary Payton II, who before the season applied for the Warriors as a video coordinator to try to make sure that he had, all his bases covered just in case he got cut, was literally applying to be a coaching assistant video coordinator. A year later, makes $28 million. Shout outs to you, the mitten, getting that bag.
Get that money, baby.
I wish I had 2 mittens I could clap together. Other deals that I liked, Kyle Anderson went to the Timberwolves for 2 years on $18 million.
Great deal.
For a team that's looking to get rid of D'Angelo Russell, this gives them another ball handler, a guy
who else is in San Antonio?
Next to Karl Anthony Towns. Huh?
Who else is in San Antonio? It's a fire sale. Who else is there you want? You want Lonnie Walker?
Lonnie Walker just went to the Lakers. We'll see who pays up to get Jakob Poeltl, who is among the best rim protectors in the NBA, but shoots 37% on free throws.
Yeah, that's tough.
I don't know. It's a fire sale down there, but I like that fit with Kyle Anderson at the Timberwolves, man. They need another ball handler. We know Patrick Beverley can't dribble. We know D'Angelo Russell's a dumbass. Fucking Kyle Anderson is a proven playoff contributor. He can grab it and go and push in transition like Draymond, make good decisions, punish smaller players on the block. Can't really shoot, but he'll be a great secondary creator for them. I really like that fit.
Nah, he's good. He's really good. Especially he's a playoff guy. He's definitely a playoff guy. I like him. I really like him.
Slow-mo.
Any other dudes?
I always got a soft spot for slow, unathletic players, Terry.
Yeah, no, that is true.
Was there
Any other
another
deals you
move
like?
that stood out to you that you hated or that you loved from the first day of free agency?
Nah, the Payton one, I loved it. I really love that Payton one. But honestly, I mean, what's been consuming me is just looking at Jalen Brunson and the Knicks, of course, because I'm a fan of them. The DeJounte Murray shit was really good. I was looking at the Hawks, seeing like what they're really gonna do, and then just KD and Kyrie, man. I'm just kind of seeing what's gonna go down there. I tweeted KD. I was like, "Where are you leaning? You know, which way are you leaning, KD?" Didn't tweet me back. You know, no big deal. I'll just keep tweeting him every day until he tweets me back.
No,
Then by that time,
Harry, you got to make a burner and then tweet at his burner. That's the only way that you'll be able to get the contact.
No more burners.
I'll talk about some deals then, since we were talking about the Lakers. You know, they're trading for KD, they're trading for Kyrie. All these big stars are coming to LA. Well, let me tell you about who they actually signed today. Juan Toscano-Anderson.
Oh.
Lonnie Walker.
Interesting.
Troy Brown Jr. And wait for it, Terry. Damian Jones.
Next. I'm out.
All cast-offs of their team. Juan Toscano-Anderson didn't play for the Warriors the last 50 games of the season, not 1 minute in the playoffs. Lonnie Walker could barely play for one of the worst teams in the league in the San Antonio Spurs. Damian Jones we last saw as he was getting cut by the Atlanta Hawks when we were finishing with the third worst record in the league to get Trae Young. He was that bad that he couldn't be. He got replaced by Dwayne Dedmon, who looked like Wilt Chamberlain compared to him. And then Troy Brown Jr., who couldn't. He only showed flashes in Chicago. A guy who they gave every opportunity and has turned into nothing. Cast offs.
You know what? There was one more thing I totally forgot. Bradley Beal re-signed with the Wizards.
Motherfucker, we gonna get to that. You didn't hear everything I just said?
I did.
I got a whole rundown full of shit. I did the research. All right?
Not interested.
All right, whatever.
Can
I interest you in James Harden taking a little bit less money so that Philadelphia can find a way to get two role players? They signed PJ Tucker to a 3-year, $33 million deal. They brought the Newell House back, reunited the Rockets days. If you guys aren't familiar with the Newell House, he's a 40% plus three-point shooter.
And his name is spelled Daniel. Yep. And he likes nurses, and he likes housekeepers.
And, you know, they added all that to DeAnthony Melton, who Daryl Morey drafted, you know, before he traded it to the Grizzlies. So
that was a big
suddenly the Sixers getting three rotation guys, you know, to put in their rotation that was relying on Shake Milton and Furkan Korkmaz and guys like that just 2 months ago.
No, that's a huge move by James Harden to do that. I don't think he's like a real selfish dude. I really don't. I think he knows who he is. And he's like, I fucking suck. We need to get in players that don't suck. I'm going to take less money. I don't deserve a max. I didn't deserve to be an all-star, and I didn't make All-NBA. Like, I need to make less money.
Nah.
Thank you very much.
He's not even going to get less money, bro. They're going to, put a void year where he is, the Gallinari shit, where they give him, a fucking $20 million deal, but only 11 of it is guaranteed. And then they'll cut him that year, and he'll get them. He'll make it back up on the back end some way. I'm convinced. Daryl Morey is the cap wizard, man. He just figures out how to take care of everybody.
He'll just get a $10,000 credit at every strip club in Philadelphia. He'll be good. He's
there
set for life. He's fine.
There you go. So that was a move I liked. Now let me get to some moves that I hated. I hated the Nuggets signing DeAndre Jordan.
You hated that?
At times like this, I wish I could flippantly say the N-word.
How could you hate that move? He's such a veteran presence in the locker room, Garrett. They really need that.
It's almost like we didn't see the 5 last teams that he left all get immediately better as soon as he stopped playing. He's a 6'8" center that can't jump over a phone book.
Look, man, apparently the NBA just likes to give checks to fucking, player coaches That, you know,
Go sign Udonis Haslem.
Exactly.
Go sign what is your boy? He went to Boston College, the light skinned motherfucker.
Jared Dudley?
Yeah, go sign Jared Dudley. Don't go sign dumbass DeAndre Jordan. His basketball IQ insists of catch rebound, catch lob, dunk ball. That's the basketball IQ.
Here's the thing, man. Here's the thing. I don't know exactly what they're doing to DeMarcus Cousins. Do you know?
Oh, he's a free agent. I don't think they're bringing him back.
Yeah, so if you didn't see the fight that they had on the fucking bench in one of the playoff games when DeMarcus Cousins just like started a scuffle and then the coach made him sit beside the guy he like was about to beat his ass. Like when 7 people at the end of your bench are just sitting watching the game, not making any noise and just staring straight at the court, you know there's a fucking problem. Anybody's better than DeMarcus Cousins. He's a cancer to the locker room. It is what it is. They got DeAndre Jordan.
Oh my goodness! Breaking news: DeMalcontent Cousins is upset with his team and making waves. Discontent, unbelievable! I can't believe it. Discontent DeMarcus. I never could have seen it coming.
Give me some more player hating. Yeah,
Marvin Bagley just signed a 3-year, $37 million deal with the Pistons.
Love it.
What position does he play?
Basketball. Nobody knows this guy, man. Well, what the mighty have fallen. Hey, potential. Gotta love these draft picks. Gotta draft these lottery picks, man. This guy sucks. I'm done with him. He went to the wrong situation, though. Sacramento screwed his ass.
I just can't imagine giving him $40 million after what I've seen him do in the NBA. I haven't seen anything that's looked remotely like it could impact winning. He's a power forward that can't dribble, pass, or shoot. Like he just has a nice face-up game and is athletic. He can't play defense for shit. Like I don't know what he's gonna do. I really don't.
Detroit isn't doing anything.
I would have rather signed what is his name? Jalen Smith, the dude who the Suns didn't take on his 5th-year option, than signed Brandon Ingram for $40 million.
Yeah. The amount of money doesn't surprise me. It's just the amount of years, honestly. Like, it's like you're tanking, but you're like, nah, we're going to tank for 3 years and keep Marvin Bagley on the team. Like, what the hell are y'all doing?
I don't get it, man. That one was a head-scratcher. And then the last one that was a head-scratcher to me, Terry, was Steve Clifford returning to coach the Charlotte Hornets after the Hornets botched their coaching search. For some reason, on draft night, they didn't have a coach. Their season ended 2 months ago, and they didn't think it would be a good time to hire a coach. They pursue Kenny Atkinson, who leaves them at the altar. Mm-hmm. They go back to Mike D'Antoni, who says, now you got to pay me twice as much if you want me to coach the team. And so then ultimately they come crawling back to Steve Clifford, who says, yeah, I'm not doing anything. The guy they fired 4 years ago.
Yeah. They keep recycling. Your boy MJ, man, he really knows what he's doing down there in Charlotte, you know? Bro, it's very, very unfortunate that, and I might be a little crazy on this one. Maybe not. I think he might agree with me. I think I would have liked D'Antoni. And I understand people don't like the recycling of these coaches, but D'Antoni and LaMelo, I think that shit would have been fucking special, bro. I ain't gonna fake. When I heard that name, I was like, ooh, LaMelo with Mike D'Antoni, son? Fuck defense. Get out of here. Like, this dude's about to break records and shit.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. They got Steve Clifford. I'm sure there's someone else out there.
LaMelo was licking his lips, thinking we're going to break some records. Miles Bridges was licking his lips, thinking, I'm going to break some bones. And Terry, that brings us to our line stepper of the week.
Miles.
Now, it's been just a rough week in general since we left you guys, just to be a citizen of the world, or more specifically, a person who lives in America. I don't have nominees for line stepper of the week this week, Terry. I just have shared disgrace that I want to spread around the nation like mulch. And we'll start with Miles Bridges. Miles Bridges 10 hours before signing a $100 million deal with the Charlotte Hornets, was arrested in Los Angeles for felony domestic battery and abuse on his girlfriend. She was taken to the hospital, badly beaten. She was at the hospital. The hospital reported that she had been assaulted by strangulation, had suffered a brain concussion, a fracture of the nasal bone, contusions of the rib, bruises, and a strained neck muscle. The pictures were terrible. She has bruises and blood all over her and swelling. And she talked about a pattern of him doing this in front of their child and her children. It's very sad. And I couldn't care less about Miles Bridges costing himself $100 million. It's sad that there's no avenue for her to go to until we find out like this. That there's nowhere for, and there's a lot of other women like this that got nowhere to turn, and they're stuck in bad situations. And if he hadn't got this documented, she would likely be vilified by the public and the press and her friends as some type of gold digger that's trying to get into his pockets right before he signs a big deal. And I applaud her for her courage and for standing up and saying no and doing what's right for her kids. And this motherfucker should be behind bars.
Yeah, he doesn't deserve to play in the NBA anymore, man. He's out, bro. Like, this shit is crazy. The NBA definitely needs to make a stance that's way stronger than the NFL should. The NFL is just going to allow fucking Deshaun Watson to play in the NFL. Like, you guys are fucking punk-ass bitches. Deshaun Watson doesn't deserve to play in the NFL. Anybody who beats on women, you don't deserve to fucking play a sport. You don't deserve a job.
You don't get to do a kids thing and be a millionaire. You get to go work in the sun or go to fucking jail.
And honestly, the thing that sucks for her, and I'm sure this might be a little controversial what I'm saying, but I'm sure, she'll maybe still gets money out of the situation.
She better get some goddamn money. Are you kidding me?
If only there was a way for him to sign the deal
and transfer it to her.
For a lawyer to hold off all the evidence, wait until he got that contract, and then, put it all out there, that would have been amazing. That would have been fucking amazing for him to give up all that fucking money, go to jail, not get a single dime. But it is what it is. You are right, man. Women definitely don't have a voice in America in a lot of situations like this. It kind of sucks. And fuck Miles Bridges. That
leads me to my second thing I wanted to get to this week. They repealed Roe v. Wade. The United States Supreme Court did, despite, our two new justices when they are appointed saying we have no intention of breaking precedent or overturning any of the laws, the Constitution. They went ahead and did it, broke precedent. Trigger laws have been set into effect all over the nation. All the red states in the South are now outlawing abortions for people women who live in Oklahoma or something like that. You got to drive 14 hours to get to the nearest place. And so what all this will mean, Terry, is that rich white women will continue to get abortions just as they always have. And poor people who don't have the economic means to take 3 days off work to drive 14 hours and to go do all this shit will have babies that are unwanted, that are, born into bad situations, that are uncared for. And these are the people, that don't really have a shot later. They weren't born with a chance, and they weren't born with love in their life, and they weren't born in the right situation. And then we look later at my next story, that I'll get to about a woman who was shot at Subway for putting too much mayonnaise on someone's sandwich. And this is how we get there, by being troubled, in your early life as your foundation of who you're finding out who you are as a human being and not getting that nurturing and that love. And this is how it happens. And it's a very sad day, and I'm disgusted, and I'm not proud to be American.
Well, this is going to be the weekend. The women are gearing up for some crazy shit. So while y'all are celebrating July 4th and shit, you better watch out. It's about to be a gang and gaggle of girls that are fucking up everything, and I hope they fuck everything worse than what we did for George Floyd. This
Right.
shit's fucking insane.
I'm about to be out there with him. Terry, whew, you guys dodged a bullet. This could have came out the day before Juneteenth. Hey,
Now, also another
talking about ruining Father's Day.
Yeah, right. God, I said that joke. at fucking Shay's parents' house, and they all died laughing.
Oh, good stuff. You're biting my material now. All right.
What are you talking about? That's just a common theme. It landed on the same day. It was gold. It was low-hanging fruit. No, the one thing I will say this too, though. Not only if a child is born in like a situation that sucks for them and they're not going to get the love that they want, there's also this thing where you know that the baby is dead inside the girl.
And they can't even remove it.
Within months, they got to let them push out a stillborn. Also, the baby can be born outside of the stomach, like internally. Kill the woman. They can't abort that shit. It's an idiotic rule. The shit is archaic as fuck. It makes no sense. And honestly, bro, if you're... I'm going to say two things. I know that on my timeline for every single social media, and I know they say that your shit's cultivated. Like I follow a bunch of different people from all different platforms to make sure my shit is just not one straightforward thing. There has to be more people that are for this shit than it seems like. It seems like everyone is against it, but there's got to be more people that are for fucking pro-life, because it doesn't make any sense that everyone is so silent on it. Like I know people that have gotten abortions don't say shit about it.
Well, let's do the math, Terry. Every woman in America should be outraged about this, regardless of your political or religious beliefs. They took away one of your freedoms, your autonomy to your own body. You are not allowed to control your own body anymore. So that's 50% of the population that should be outraged. Let's add another 30% of men who don't hate women. All right. Now we're up to 80%. That should be everybody. This should be an overwhelming support, a tidal wave of outcry and outrage that this is happening. And what sickens me the most, Terry, is actually, I won't say it sickens me the most, but I'll say it pains me to see women who are supporting this, especially these Republican white women that are caping for these senators and are, saying this is a good thing, trying to institute their religious law on the rest of the country, or make some false dichotomy, false comparison, you know what I mean, to like when life starts and all this other type of shit.
Yeah.
You, Benedict Arnold, you're leaving your people out in the cold. You're not doing what's right for yourself, what's right for women, or what's right for this country. And I think you should be ashamed of yourself, frankly.
Nah,
all the men, it's like white men, we've been subjugating women for thousands and thousands of years. This ain't nothing new for us. This is chapter 411 on a 500-page book. All right. So I'm not surprised by this at all. I'm just surprised that people allowed this to happen without this much of an outcry. And then there weren't, lines of millions of women, standing like Tiananmen Square in front of tanks before this would happen.
Yeah. And the point I was kind of getting to was like, you can't stay silent on these situations anymore, guys and girls. You can't do that shit anymore. I can say for myself, we as black people did that for a long time. And a lot of people of other races did that shit when it came to police brutality. And it reached the fucking boiling point. And at that point, it was no longer okay for you to just not say shit. You can see that some stuff has changed for us, black people, recently, because we fucking rioted crazy for like the past couple of years, and we actually wanted some change, and we got more help from other races of people and all that type of shit. Like, everyone needs to stand up. You cannot be fucking quiet anymore. Like, the shit is done. You can't be quiet anymore, bro. You have to say something. You got to stand up for something, or you're just going to be fucking sitting here while all the laws are fucking changed. They're going to go for fucking gay marriage, gay people. They're going to go for interracial marriages too. It's all the same type of shit.
And all the people that said, all these people are crooks and it doesn't matter who I vote for. Every politician doesn't have my best interest in mind. It wouldn't have been any different with Hillary Clinton in office. It was Trump that put in these It was him who put in these 2 judges who lied and said they weren't reverse precedent. And now because of that, we're directly in this situation. So it's very naive to think that your vote doesn't have an impact, or that all of these people can just be put in one bucket as politicians who don't have your best interests at heart. The last thing I'll say is, to your point, Terry, it's time to speak up. And we're 2 comedians on a sports comedy podcast, and we're taking a moment of gravity to address this because it needs to be addressed. And, by no way should we get a medal for this or anything like that. But I hope other people are encouraged to talk about this in the public space and to ruffle feathers and to have uncomfortable conversations, because that's one of the only ways we can drive this narrative and try to get women their rights back.
Yeah. Hey, I'm done with the conversation, but I will say this. The women were slowly getting their equality.
All right.
And the boys said, not so fast.
we hit the Scorpio. Get over here.
Oh my God. I'm working on a joke on that. Hopefully people don't kill me when I do it on stage, but I hope that shit kills. I hope it kills.
If they do, I hope they just call it a killing and not a lynching. Smooth transition, Terry, because you were done with the abortion talk. The Texas State Board made some news this week, Terry, because a group of educators in Texas are recommending that slavery be referred to as involuntary relocation for secondary for the state curriculum.
Texas, man.
Terry, your thoughts on slavery being branded as involuntary relocation?
Involuntary relocation? Yo, I don't understand why we're trying to get rid of history, bro. Like, the shit happened.
Oh, I know why. I know why. They're going to try to get rid of – they're just going to expunge the original Roe v. Wade in 150 years. People are going to they're not even going to know that we were able to do these things.
God, man, you can't change it. Just teach it how it is, bro. It is what it is. It happened. Stop trying to get that shit out of your minds. Even my dogs agree. They're just like, yeah, bullshit.
Hey, for the record, all 3 of Terry's dogs are black.
That is true.
Oh, this issue affects them very deeply. But the whole idea, man, that that would be one thing if you just called the stealing of slaves from Africa involuntary relocation. What about the next 200 years?
No, that's true. That's true. That's true. Yo, you know what? And this kind of sucks because this deeply intrudes on where I want to move. Like, I wanted to move to fucking Austin, and then Texas just keeps making these fucking rules that are fucking up everything. I can't move there if you're against shit that involves my fucking wife and that involves me. Like, I just can't move to the goddamn state.
If you like giving you my money. If you like blacks, Latinos, or women, it's hard to move to Texas.
Shit is crazy, man. Yo, like this. So listen to this, right? You remember when we lost the All-Star game because of the what was it? HB2 law, the
bathroom one.
Yeah, was like a transgender
bathroom laws. Yeah,
something like that. I just think if entertainers and a lot of businesses, like, if you're not about that shit for that state, don't give those motherfuckers any money. Relocate. Double up on a show in another state. Like, don't give these motherfuckers no money. They don't deserve that shit.
And Terry, the dollar talks. You know what I mean? And Terry, you saw this somewhat, you mentioned with the police brutality and everything, like a public wealth fund and trust being created for black people. So that black people can pool their money, have bargaining power, have buying power. Black people represent 15% of people in America, and I think 60% of the spending on a day-to-day basis. And so there's a crazy amount of money that's being changed hands that's black money. And that ultimately was, that coalition, that block was what got a lot of things done. It would be interesting to see, can we put our money where our mouth is for women too? Are there going to be, women putting their money together and buying power? If we see Oprah, J.K. Rowling, the Queen of England, whoever the fuck, you know what I mean? Like, put that money together and put pressure on these states and say, like, we're putting a trade embargo. We're not selling our shit there. We're not traveling there. Our fans aren't going there. Like, go be like Cleveland and lose billions of dollars of money after LeBron left, because it's not just one person. It's 50% of our country. And I think to your point, man, putting our money where our mouth is going to be like the biggest way that we can impact.
Hell yeah, bro. That's the only way. Money is the biggest talker in the history of anything. Like, money speaks in America more than anything ever. Like, yeah, I forgot. There's one thing too. I think women and everybody need to look it up. If I'm not mistaken, when Roe v. Wade happened back in the day, I believe women stopped buying a lot of shit that was like man-made and stuff like that. I think they even stopped buying gas for 2 whole days, like a shitload of women or whatever. There's a movement for them to do that again. You guys can look it up. I'm going to try my best to kind of like.
I'll participate with you guys, man.
Yeah. Like
I got an electric car anyway, but I'll do the gas embargo.
Yeah. But like, when you really, really get together as a people, as a race, as a conglomerate, like, it really fucking speaks. If you guys don't buy groceries from fucking places that are all fucked up, like the companies and shit, they begin looking at this shit a little differently. If no money gets to them, they're like, hey, look, man, we're with the women. We don't want this shit. Change it. Yeah, it'll happen quickly, bro. So, I don't know. Look it up. See what days it is. It is like a specific day and time or whatever. So,
at the end of the day, it's on all of us to buy everything we need for our lives exclusively through black women now. And we're all going to have to deal with the poor customer service, all the attitude we're going to get back when we try to return things.
Oh, man.
This is sacrifices that we have to make for the betterment of the country.
That's true, man.
Terry, it's been an unbelievable podcast with you, from the highs of Deontay Murray to the lows of Kevin Durant to the there's not a word describing the situation that we just talked about in America.
Wow.
The nadir that is our country right now.
Wow. Very, very wild.
Thank you for sitting here, chopping it up with me, chatting it, and giving the people what they want for just over the 100th time.
Yes, sir. Almost at 600. The numbers fluctuate, but we won't focus on the numbers going up and down. We'll just keep giving you this great content as we move on to the road to 1,000 in monetization, and it'll keep moving on. Also, one irrelevant topic. I know we talked about this before. You got anything on UCLA and USC going to the Big Ten and Texas and Oklahoma going to the SEC?
Yeah, just sure. I'll be real quick on that. I went to University of Maryland when they transferred from the ACC to the Big Ten. It was the worst move in Maryland's history. They ruined their rivalries with Duke, ostracized themselves from any way of being relevant in the national landscape, and it's been nothing but losing a ton of money and cutting sports teams since. The entire Big Ten in general has been on a downward spiral for the last Big Ten decade, and this is a badly needed shot in the arm for them, acquiring UCLA, USC, 2 blue chip programs. They're teams, not just by virtue of having 2 other good teams in the conference. Now you can recruit better people because you're playing against better people. The scouts aren't going to be like, well, he was playing against fucking Purdue and Iona and all these other teams. We don't know how that's going to translate. It's like, no, It's Ohio, USC. We know these are 5-star guys. So I think it's big for college football. It's big for the Big Ten. It's big for driving interest. And we can just go ahead and dissolve the Pac-12 now, can't we?
Hey, that's good. That's a good little take right there for not a lot of information in that brain. Look at you. Hold up for 1 second. So you think it's a good thing that they're going?
Yeah. Fuck the Pac-12.
Yeah, I don't know. This shit is just going to be wild as fuck for, like, Penn State to play a conference game against USC. Like, that's thousands of miles away. Just on a Tuesday, on a Thursday.
Hey, you know what I think, Terry?
That's crazy, bro.
Realign it all. Let's go back to what the OG way was. Mason-Dixon line. Confederates,
Dixon line.
North and the South. That's who plays each other. We got 2 conferences.
Hey, I only got one thing to say about it. RIP to the ACC. You know, it's been a long run. You guys have done it for about 75 years, but you know this is a basketball conference. It's not a football conference. So once the Big Ten and the SEC pretty much take every single team that's good at football, bye-bye. UNC better get your football up. This NIL better start doing something for somebody because, unfortunately, this shit is not really, you know, going towards, I would think, fair competition. I don't think it was before, but now it's like fucking insanely unfair. If it's only going to be 2 conferences, I'm cool with it, but I don't know what we're going to do with the rest of these schools. Like, is it just going to be like one Division I, and then it'll be one Division 1A, and then one Division 1B, and like I don't know what we're going to do.
I really think in like 10 years, it's going to be like, what are we even doing? Like, what is college sports? These guys are making $10 million a year as 18-year-old freshmen, and then they leave 8 months later to go to the professional league. Like, what the fuck am I even watching?
Well, the big thing for me is not the football part of it. They only play once a week, pretty much just in the fall and in the winter. So it's basically just like a 6-month sport. That's fine. You're fucking it up for the basketball and for the field hockey and for the fucking swimming team. Like, you're making them travel crazy for like one meet, one game.
Who gives a fuck? It's swimming. It's field hockey. You guys aren't contributing anything to this university anyway. You should be lucky that you're allowed to play here and have a free tuition.
Yeah, but then you're going to get rid of a lot of free. You're going to get rid of a lot of free opportunities for people to go to college, though. That shit's going to suck.
No, you're not going to get rid of it. You're just going to make them travel farther. If anything, Terry, what they're going to do is they're going to get rid of the one and done rule, and they're going to go back to allowing high schoolers to go straight into professional leagues. Because what is the point of them going to make $10 million at Duke for 7 months when I can bring you right into my system in the Atlanta Hawks?
What I'm saying for the smaller sports is that once you make them travel that far, like Maryland and USC are going to be in the same conference. Eventually, if I'm Maryland and I'm like, look, our swim team sucks. I'm not paying for y'all to go to fucking LA.
Listen, man, all they do, you got to just change the rules. Then be like, listen, you only got to have 4 conference games a season. You got to have 6 out of conference, blah, blah, blah. Schedule with the 3 people close to you, and then we'll seed USC in the conference championship. Like, there are plenty of ways to fucking finagle this shit. I'm not too worried about that.
Too much.
I don't give a fuck about field hockey or volleyball or swimming or any of that shit anyway. So,
what about basketball?
Basketball ain't going nowhere. That's the moneymaker, baby.
I'm just saying, this Big Ten shit is going to fucking span from Hawaii.
Sports anyway. I want them to do it. Get rid of it. I don't watch it. They suck. If you're good enough to go to the professional league, then you should be able to go. Period.
Well, you know my rule on that.
We got fucking 16-year-olds, Messi and these motherfuckers in Europe playing at 16, starting for the biggest teams, and I can't even get you into an NBA system until you turn 19 years old. It's ridiculous.
Because I think we should all have the baseball rule. You leave in high school. If you don't, if you go to college, you got to stay for, I think it's 3 years.
Yep. I think it's 2 or 3 but it's like, yeah.
So do it, bro. I'm all for that type
I'm all for that, too. I'm all for that. But, Terry, how about that? The habitual line steppers closing the pod agreeing for once.
Yeah, man.
Well, Terry, we all can agree that we look forward to your goatee being back on next week's episode. It's been a fun time doing this podcast with high school Terry. I think it really reinvigorated your youthful energy.
I think it's a good pod, man. Just a lot of heavy shit on this one, but a lot of basketball talk. Hopefully next week some different shit will happen. Everybody have a good 4th of July. Hope you had a good Juneteenth and all that type of shit. Happy Father's Day and all that. Blah, blah, blah.
And we'll close by a quote for Kevin Durant by my man Rick Ross. Gotta cut the grass to show the snakes.
Jesus Christ. Peace.
Peace.